There are many people out there your age who are making an unbelievable amount of money. And one of the first things that the smartest people in this group do, they retire their family. They pay their parents back for the effort and sacrifice that they've made. And it's such a beautiful experience. It's to be a son who retires his father is a beautiful experience. I think it's like every son's duty. And it's gonna require discipline. Because when you look into any of these genuinely successful young people, the young people who are literal millionaires, there is absolutely one trait that they have in common. They did hard work, even when they did not feel like it. But on the other hand, the young men who lack discipline, they're hit with three major pain points. One, they live a life where they're not living up to their potential. They're always unfulfilled. Two, they're experiencing the realities of being a poor performer, which means shitty jobs, not much money in their business, poor grades. And maybe worst of all, three, the people in their lives are let down. Or maybe the people in their lives are experiencing extra stress to counteract their laziness and lack of discipline. You see, there's only really two paths in front of you. It's the path of discipline, or it's the path of destruction. The cost of discipline, okay, you've got to wake up a little bit earlier, you make some coffee and you get to work even though it feels kind of hard. The cost of lacking discipline is your soul. It's the pain that when you fall in love with a woman, you're not successful enough to be able to just retire her immediately. That seems like a distant dream for a lot of guys, but it is a reality for some. Imagine that moment when your woman still needs to go to work in a job that she doesn't want to go to. You know, if you meet a woman who loves her work, that's different. But let's say she's working some shitty job and it's actually starting to drain on her. Let's say she gets pregnant and even 6 months or however long, 3 months into the pregnancy, she still has to go to work. She still has to commute. Now, I can be sat here like, being like nice as everyone else is to you, but I'm going to hit you with some cold, hard fucking truths. You're disgracing your manhood if you can't provide for others. If you have a woman who hates her job, but still has to go because you weren't disciplined enough for long enough in your life, you should feel like a fucking asshole. You should look yourself in the mirror and actually think, fuck me, I wasted years of my life doing what? Porn, video games, drinking, drugs, right? If it was different, if it was like, you were really working hard, but you didn't end up achieving success, that's different. But look into the fucking mirror and just be honest with yourself. Did you actually work to the level that you should have? Did you discipline yourself to the level that you should have? Or did you just keep coping and saying that 1 hour of video games was fine? And now your girl has to go work an overnight shift, or she has to work overtime on Saturdays. Now your father's 60 years old and he's still trudging along to work. And no one will say this to you, by the way. No one will actually come to you and say I wish you retired me. Your father's probably not going to say that to you, but they're thinking that. I can't believe I raised such a weak son who didn't even understand the concept of masculinity, that you provide. Your father provided for you and here you are. Extra 1 hour on video games every day, eating carbs that fuck up your brain and now you can't even work well. I don't mean to be insulting or aggressive towards you, but I wish that someone spoke to me like this, because everyone spoke to me like a pussy when I was growing up. It was so weird. It's trust me when I say people are thinking these thoughts, but I'm growing up playing video games, watching porn, fucking around, wasting time, and only my father would just kind of tell me, these are bad habits and stuff, but he wouldn't ever explain. I wish he sat down, maybe I would have thought of him worse, but I wish he sat me down and said, you shouldn't be playing video games, because in 10 years, I wish that you would retire me. I wish that I'd stop working these shitty jobs that I hate, and I hate my life, and I have to drink alcohol to be able to sleep. I wish in 10 years from now, you'd be able to retire me, and I don't believe you'll be able to do that because you keep spending 2, 3, 4, 5 hours a day on video games. I'm disappointed in you. I wish someone told me that when I was younger. These days, everyone just speaks in such a polite, nice way, and you need someone to hit you with some truth. That I don't say this to be an asshole. I don't say this to hurt your feelings. If I wanted to hurt your feelings, I wouldn't be making a guide like this where I've genuinely put my fucking heart and soul into this for the last 2 weeks and numbed my brain to thinking how I can help you be more disciplined. But sometimes, especially for young men who are masculine, you need a bit of criticism from someone else. You need another guy to look at you and just say like, bro, you're not living to your potential. So what the fuck is the point in your life? Now, you can start getting depressed and think that this is going to trigger you and make you worse. Or you can think, you know what? It is shameful. It is absolutely shameful for me to be like a leech on my family when I'm a young man. I'm 18 years old. I'm 20 years old. I can work harder, I can figure it out, and I don't have to retire them right now because that would be unreasonable. But I could surely retire my parents after 10 years from now if I set that as the plan, right? That's not so like super unrealistic. I'll give you a random tip. When we talk about retiring parents, people don't really explain it. There's two ways that you retire your parents. One is that you make like an absolute boatload of money and you just essentially transfer them the money, like a huge amount, like let's say $1 million, and they get to live off that forever. That they don't have to think about anything else. That's very unrealistic because that means that you've probably got 10 million or 50 million in the bank account and you can give them that much. So not many guys will do that. But the other one is that you're making a really good amount of money every month. Like for example, your business is making 8,000 or 10,000 a month, which is really high, but it's possible. And then from that, you give them more than what they need to be able to pay off all the bills. So for example, you give your parents like $4,000 a month, which means that suddenly they don't even need to work anymore. Let's say like your mother right now, like how much does she make? $2,000 a month, probably less for most of the people watching this right now, probably way less, right? So if you were making $5,000 a month in your business and you were able to give your mother 1.5K or 2K, suddenly all of her time is freed. She doesn't need to work the shitty job that she hates. And it's like, this is a very strong point for people because this is when the leashes, the chains of finance get broken off and they can discover who they really are and what they really want to do with their lives. And it turns out, you know, people still want to work and be productive and do something. Your mother's been working this shit job that she hates. Now it turns out that she actually wants to go and volunteer at this charity because like one of her, like some friends or something is there. Or there's like a cafe that she really likes and she'd love to work there part-time. So she's still bringing in a bit of income, but she like really enjoys it a lot more. It's not as stressful. It's closer to home. She doesn't have to commute. And you've just gave her the genuine gift of life for $2,000 a month. Not bad. You should not be hearing this and start to self-destruct, because there are quite a lot of sensitive young people who are hearing this and they're just going to start getting really, really stressed out and stuff. That's not going to help you. Don't just start getting emotional at this. Start getting logical towards this. Start thinking to yourself, you know what? Emotions aren't going to help me. Logic, power, strength will. Discipline will. What's going to help you is the fact that barely 1% of young men are interested in things like this. Like if you really just imagine yourself right now, if you view yourself in third person, you're sat here watching a guide on discipline. Now, if you imagine the people you grew up with, what are they doing right now? One of them is genuinely edging his dick right now. You know it. The other one is literally like he's still lying in bed right now. The other one is watching some bullshit TV or something. The other one is just playing on his little Xbox with his little stubby fingers or something. He's got like little like oily fingers from like the little disgusting junk food he's been eating whilst playing the game. The other one is working some like shit job that he hates, but he's spending all the money on like some card that gives him a level of validation. So maybe he can get some stinky hole from when he goes to the club. That's your competition. You're telling me you can't beat those guys. Your competition is literally guys who don't even exercise. Your competition is guys who genuinely have never even heard of the concept of like meditating. That's your competition, bro. It's not that hard. To beat 99% of guys, all you've got to do is about 10 push-ups and 30 seconds of meditation today. That's it. Then, to beat the 1% is ruthlessly hard because guys in the 1% are actually doing bits. They've already watched this guide. They're already meditating for the last year. They've all got six packs. They all understand all these like concepts and frames and mindsets. Now it gets hard. But to beat 99% of guys, bro, and to get to like the equivalent of that might be 1 or 2 or 5K in business. It's like just do some stuff consistently for like 2 months and ask for advice. And just maybe get someone who's more experienced than you to help you and to give you some kind of direction, and just do it for about an hour a day for like 2 months, 3 months. When you go down this path of discipline, what you'll realize is you'll start to get this weird, peaceful, blissful experience, which kind of like, it reminds you, it shows you, the concept of your potential. You always heard this in school and Instagram little quotes, live to your potential, do your potential, your potential, your potential. When you start to dedicate yourself to discipline, and really don't bullshit yourself. You really become disciplined in the areas that you didn't want to. Like, you kind of want to, but you don't feel like it. You're not motivated and stuff. And you really start to do hard shit. I didn't want to sit down for this fucking video right now. I didn't want to. I've already done 3 hours of deep work today. My brain was kind of hurting. And for like a break, like a vacation, I closed my eyes and did some deep breaths. And now I'm here. Now I'm recording for like a solid probably 2 hours whilst I'm here. And it feels phenomenal. Because as I'm doing this, there's no thoughts in my mind. I've challenged myself today, so I get a free flow state. This is the happiest like a human can be, is when you're experiencing flow and there's no thoughts in my mind. I don't need to fake it. I'm not like some people will pretend that they're happy with their work and they'll show you like a fake smile. I don't need to show you like a massive big smile. I am totally and utterly like content and almost slightly like enlightened in this exact second right now because of discipline, because I've put the hard work in to be here today. So I'm in like a flow as I deserve. The moment that I'm done recording this, I'm going to feel phenomenal. I've accomplished more in this morning than I used to, genuinely over an entire month. It's 10 a.m. I woke up at 5. It's awesome living like this. Now I want to talk about some specific strategies that you can use to use discipline in your work and your studies. You liked this video, so go and watch the full guide because it took me weeks to make and it will genuinely change your life. It's popped up as a card. Go click on that right now. It's also a link in the description. Go click on that right now.